Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I've got a tutorial that I'm wanting to share with you on making wings and mermaid tails. There are lots of tutorials out here on YouTube for doing this technique, and I was requested to do this one, to do some wings, and I haven't done this in quite a while, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. This is Angelina fiber, Angelina film. It also comes in a shredded form called Angelina fiber. It comes in lots of different colors. It's a cellophane type of product. Has a different iridescence to the base color. This one is Christina's Eyes, which is a kind of a blue, purple, red, violet kind of color. And then I've got Fun Wire. This is a coated aluminum wire, and I just got it at Walmart. You can get it in the craft stores. What I would suggest is you get a baking tile, a baking surface that's I don't want to say glass, but glass or ceramic, so you can tape down to it. And as you'll see in the tutorial, I'm working with a clear glass, and I'm going to put my pattern underneath the glass, but I'm going to work on top of the glass, if that makes any sense at all. So I'll be right back and we'll get started. Okay, if you've followed me for very long, you know I got my start in polymer clay, doing mermaids and fairies. So I've done a bit of this before. This particular piece, as you can see, I had colored the liquid Sculpey, and I put a bit too much glitter in it so you couldn't see through it. And this is for a mermaid tail that I was working on. Alright, so I've got my pattern under the glass. The other thing you're going to need, probably should have said this at the beginning. So the other thing you're going to need is liquid Sculpey or liquid clay. Liquid Sculpey will turn transparent if it's heated enough. And so I'm going to show you a few tricks on that. Kato has a liquid clay, and Fimo has a liquid clay as well. So I haven't tried either one of those. So there's my disclaimer. I haven't tried either one of those, but I have tried the liquid Sculpey, and I've used it for years. So, alright, I'm going to put this on the tripod, and I'll be right back. Alright, the first thing I'm going to want to do is to bend and cut the wire. And I'm only going to do half of this, although I would suggest doing both of them if you can at the same time. Alright, so I'm just going to lay my wire down on the glass. Use my finger as a pivot point. And then mark where I want to cut it. Alright, and then if you have a pair of, these are called flush cutters, they'll cut flush on the one side, and they'll cut a point on the other. So you're just going for close. It doesn't need to be perfect. Alright, something like that. The one thing you want to concentrate on is that it lays down flat. Where this sticks up right here, I'm going to have to get it to lay down flat. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now we just need a center. Alright. So there's what we've got. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is to lay down a piece of this film. Alright, so I've got the film taped down, and I'm sorry, it's not going to be easy for you to see through the piece at this time. I've taped down, though, outside of the area that I drew the pattern. That's very important. You don't want to be fighting the tape after it bakes. Alright, get our pattern kind of close. Alright, and then you're going to take your liquid Sculpey Now, on the original tutorial that I saw, was just a picture tutorial, but I watched years ago, looked at years ago, suggested gluing down the wires, which you can do, but most glues I have found will burn, and that doesn't make a very pretty wing. Alright, now I've outlined the outside edge of the wire. This is where your artistic style will kind of come in. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean. You can leave holes in the wing. And these are just tiny wings, so there we go. Now, you can put this in the oven and let it bake. It's not going to be clear when it comes out, but we'll handle that after it comes out. So I'm going to bake this and I'll be back. One of the things that I want to touch on briefly is these are very small wings, and I'm just going to use them on a pendant. If you're doing these for a doll, you want to add a little extra wire, something that you'll be able to embed in your doll, whether it's going to be through drilled holes in the back that you attach with glue after the fact, or making them as part of the doll. Alright, here they are, fresh out of the oven. Glass is still pretty warm. One of the things, if you wait, if you wait too long to put the piece in the oven after you've put the liquid clay down, as you can see, my holes filled in because it will spread. So the quicker you put it in the oven after you trace your lines, the truer it'll stay to your creation. It won't be perfect, but so let's get this off here. Well, actually, let's leave it down. I'm gonna use my heat gun and make this a little clearer. So you're gonna hear my heat gun for a second. You want to keep your heat gun off, backed away. You can burn the liquid clay. It is kind of difficult to burn, but it can be done. Just keep your heat gun back. And as you can see, the Angelina film is starting to wrinkle. And that's a good thing. It just takes a few minutes. Once you start a spot turning transparent, it'll all go quicker. There you can see on the edge. Just gotta be patient with it. One of the reasons why I'm showing you this in real time. I want you to see how long it really takes. Almost there now. Alright. Let that cool down a minute. Alright, it's cool enough to handle now. Ouch. It's cool enough to handle, but the glass isn't. Alright. So let me get this glass out of the way, and I'll show you how to finish these. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is kind of trim these down a little bit. And you don't have to trim them anywhere near the wire. Just come in kind of close. Something like that will be fine. Alright, anywhere that your liquid clay leaked out, you can trim that back with your scissors. And again, don't get up next to the wire, just get close. Alright, for the next step, you're going to want a lighter. A candle works. You could even put it back on the glass and use your heat gun. But you're just going to want to melt the edges. And it will melt back to where your liquid clay is. And it can burn, and you can go back with your scissors later and trim that away. But it can be a nice effect as well. Alright, you get the idea. And if you don't like the blackened edges, you can go back with some glue and put glitter on the edges, which you can do anyway. You can sprinkle glitter in the liquid clay when you're making the wings. Other small inclusions. Alright. So there you have them. Little wings. For your clay projects, for your doll projects, for scrapbooking projects if you wanted it. Alright. I will be back with more. I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.